Welcome, ninjas, to a long shot production. In this series, we're going to cover how to create a pop song from scratch. We're going to cover everything from arrangement, mixing, and even mastering. Stay tuned. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Pop Song from Scratch. If you haven't already done so, hit the subscribe button below. I made a rhyme, that's a crime. If you have any comments or suggestions, leave them down below and I'll respond as quickly as I can. Hit that like button if you like the video. And now we're moving onward. So, I was listening to this and I didn't really like the tom fills on every four. So I removed two of them and I put them here, right? So I'll let you just hear them separately. Yeah. So that's where I like those. Okay, so now I'm gonna consider beefing up the bass line in the drop. So I think one way we can do that is to make it fatter by duplicating the channel and just putting a different patch down here. I'm considering, excuse me. I'm considering using my Reese bass that I've made and then just combining it with the drop bass that we've got here. And we'll see how that sounds. Okay, so one thing, we're going to get rid of the low frequencies because our low frequency is already on the main bass line, right? So. Okay, so another thing I'm noticing is, excuse me, is the Reese bass is kind of like bleeding away from the original bass. So I guess it's... So that's a little bit less noticeable. So before and after, we'll A/B it. So I like that. And obviously it's too loud, so we're going to lower it. Oh, that sounds good. Okay, so I'm going to lower my volume because I actually don't like to listen to things at high volume. And that's something you should do too. Protect your ears. Don't be stupid. You do not need to listen to music loud all the time in your ears, especially in your ears, so that you're just destroying your own instrument. Okay, that's good. All right, so next we're going to work on subby bubby, subline, sub bass. Control L to loop. And we're going to throw a serum patch. So I think I'm going to make my own sub for this one. I'm probably going to use a triangle wave. So obviously that's way too high in an octave. So Control A to select everything. Hold Shift and press the arrow key down. And that brings it down a full octave. All right. And go to analog, basic shapes, change this to a triangle. Let's add some tube distortion. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a macro key. I'm going to show you how to do that. So select your serum patch, hold Control, press G to group it. Open up your macro keys here, right click, edit key map. Open up serum, go to your effects, and just control the wet and dry on the mix knob. Right click, map to macro 1. And then that's it. So we'll rename this to drive. All right, there, we have our drive now. And I think we'll stick with the tube distortion. All right, so back to the oscillator. We are going to add a filter. Some drive, just to fatten it up, right? Make it a mono, always portamento. I won't play around with that idea too much. Okay. So next we will add an OTT band. Actually, oops, I did not mean to do that. Control Z to undo. We will add multi-band dynamics. We will put it inside of the group. And we won't use the high frequency. We'll do this at 5.2. Input of 5.2. The output of this one to about 5.5. And this one probably around 10. Okay. Let's try OTT. We'll bring this down here. So this setting's a little bit more of a better preset for me instead of just playing with the multiband compressor. So we'll just turn the high one off. And we will decrease the amount being used, probably to about, I don't know, about 45%, I guess. That sounds about right. All right. Whoops. All right, so in EQ. And with the EQ, we're just gonna, you know, shelf the low frequencies up a little bit. Around there. Increase the gain. Increase the Q to about 2 octaves per. And then we'll change this to a less of a steep curve. And bring this down about here. So that way we're not getting any high frequencies to come through, right? Oh yeah, that's the sauce. Okay, now we're going to use a corpus. And then we're going to play with the tune on this one. So we got this on loop. So the tune's too high. Changes to membrane. Increase the ratio. Material. Listening left. Listening right's too much. Turn the bleed up. So essentially what we're doing is we're just fattening the bass up, the sub bass, to make it more in your face. Sorry, bring another corpus. So this will be a membrane as well. That should be good there. Turn these up. We're just adjusting knobs to make things sound bigger. Okay, so let's so I think I like that's how I like how the bass sounds there. We will actually add a utility plugin in here. And we'll put this in straight mono. Turn the gain down just a little bit. All right, so that's a pretty beefy sub. I like that. Now let's listen to them in the context of together with the bass. Really fattens up that sound, right? So I'm gonna bring the, obviously I'm not mixing it, but it's way too loud. So it really fattens up that bass, right, in the chorus, so. Look at this, Control D. Maybe we'll play with the patch a little bit. Okay. No, we'll just leave it as it is. That way we can have a sustained low end that's kind of important anyway. Kind of fills that low frequency anyway. Verse. Okay, that should be good there. I think we're done with the basses on the drops. Things might change a little bit on the second drop. We always want the second drop to be a little bit more dramatic. In the meantime, if you're enjoying the series, please hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, help me out. Leave a comment if you have any questions, and stay tuned.